So I already have a backlog of videos that I need to get through, like 3 different videos I'm halfway through completing, and yet again something big has happened with one of my favourite VR games. Blade and Sorcery has released U12, the long awaited update that adds a lot of new content into the game, making it an even more immersive and exciting experience than it already was. So let's get right into it. So right off the bat, U12 is known as the Mod Manager update. So no prizes for guessing what they prioritise for this update. The Mod Manager can now be accessed while in VR, which is an amazing addition because it saves you having to take your headset off and having to enable or disable mods on your desktop. It's one of those things that doesn't seem like much, but the ease of access is a very welcome addition in my eyes. It even allows you to install mods through the game itself rather than manually installing Vortex or any other mod manager, which is a huge game changer, especially for the players who like to play the Quest standalone version. Mod installation wasn't exactly easy on the Quest until now. Before now, the easiest way to install mods on the Quest version was to go through the SideQuest app, and that wasn't actually very easy. I couldn't even get it done myself. So I guess this update is big for PC VR, but it is also bigger for Quest VR as well. So on to the next big part of this update. The game has added physics-based swimming, which is a big addition to the game. This is because it allows for a whole new way of traversing the landscape and possibly setting the framework for many more maps in the future. You are able to swim in 2 different types of traversal options. Firstly, by using the joysticks to move around like a normal, or secondly, the more cooler option, which is to move your arms about in a swimming motion. The developers themselves have said that swimming is mainly there just for messing about at the moment, with the only real use of it being in the dungeon mode, but even so, it's one of those things that is nice to mess around with, and like I said before, there will be more applications of this in the future updates. So on to the third big thing of this update, and this is probably the coolest thing in the update. We now have Breakables. Breakables are objects that will smash when used as a weapon or when enemies are thrown into them, which is honestly so cool and can have many different applications. For example, medieval WWE. Now, the only concern that I had for this was that the amount of objects in the world might end up slowing down the game, but this hasn't really been an issue for me, and even if it is, there are options to prevent such slowdowns from happening. The developers regard this as something they don't know how they played the game before without it, and I have to agree with them with it. It seems like such a commonplace thing that I can't imagine going back. But yeah, I don't think I can get the words out to describe how cool it is to throw enemies into objects and for them to just break. It's so cool. What's even better is that you can pick up the pieces and use them as weapons as well. And the last of the big updates to U12, there are many different rooms that have been added into the dungeon mode in order to give the level more variance. This is one of those things that inject a whole new quality of life into the dungeon mode, which is really great to see. It should give the game a bit more replayability, which is always good to see. It allows you to try the new swimming mechanic, so it even has a practical purpose as well. Now, there is a lot of variance when it comes to the rooms. I've noticed it is a massive change, but I still think it's kind of boring, to be honest. I mean, it's quite cool killing the first 9 or 10 enemies, but it gets to a point where you just can't find anybody and it's just boring. I am under no circumstances saying that the dungeon mode is bad. It's actually a really fun mode at times, but I've just played it a bit too much and I've kind of gotten bored of it. But it is definitely worth a try just to see the new rooms. So those were the biggest changes of this update. Of course, all the U11 mods are going to have to be updated for U12, so that is quite possibly the only downside to this whole update. I think that this is a remarkable update and one that will encourage players to pick up their headsets again in order to log a few more hours into the game. So that is all I have for this video. I just want to thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. I also want to thank you for the continued support you have all provided on my videos. It really makes me want to create more than I already do. If you'd like to see what I'm thinking of at every waking moment of the day, my Twitter is in the description. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like. If you want more VR content from me, then I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. It would really help a lot. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.